Hi, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of Kevin's Corner. I'm DM Kevin. Today, I am joined by Michael. Today, I have brought Michael in because on the channel, there have been some questions about character creation. And I have put out a video about character creation in the past. If you haven't watched it, please do. But the character creation that we're going to be talking about today is where do you draw inspiration from? And Michael, thank you so much for coming on the channel tonight.
Thank you for having me.
So we'll just hop right into this.
Okay.
When you're doing character creation, what are some of the areas you draw from for character creation?
I pull from almost anything. Movies, TV shows, books, comics, board games even I've pulled from.
Personal experience from my own personal experience,
Yep.
historical figures. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
But if you could pick the top three, what would be the top three areas you draw from?
I pull from movies, anime, and the tropes themselves normally.
Okay. So we'll just start at the top, the movie aspect. If when you think of movies, just narrow it down to one example of a movie you could draw a character out of.
Really good example, Robin Hood.
Robin Hood. Okay. What about Robin Hood, or what about Robin Hood drives your character creation?
I really like the idea of Robin Hood because there have been so many movies based off of the Robin Hood tale with different twists and their own things that they've added and changed. So you can build him as 2 or 3 different types of characters.
So, what would, without getting too far into detail,
Yeah.
what would be the top one that you can come up with that you think of right off the top of your head?
Oh, Kevin Costner's Prince of Thieves, hands down.
Actually, yes, I agree with that. And in your character creation process, what kind of character would that be?
This would probably be a character that is a leader of a small band of militia or a small town on the outskirts of what people would classify as civilization, living in the woods, living literally an all-for-one kind of style. So I would definitely see him as a ranger type because in that movie he is very aware of his environment and traps and people going through his environment.
Excellent. Okay. Another one that you mentioned that I'm not too familiar with would be the anime.
Yeah.
I never really got into anime. I know people on the channel don't freak out. I never did. But one character in anime that kind of stands out to you, who would it be?
Sasuke Uchiha from Naruto. I grew up watching it, so he's always one that I've been wanting to build for a while.
And what kind of character would he be?
The show Naruto is about ninjas using jutsu, or that's their version of magic in the setting, to do various quests and do jobs.
Okay, and so when you're thinking of the Naruto, what kind of character would it be?
So this is when the nuances of when a character is throughout the show. Towards the beginning of the show, they were very much more like your classic ninja and monk types, worrying about small hidden knives and using their environment to their advantage, and then literally just punching each other, doing whatever they can to get the job done. A little bit later in the show, that's when they start to get more and more jutsu, which is their magic in the setting, which then will probably have him be more of a warlock type, because his specific magic that he uses is very limited in use. He can only use it 2 or 3 times during a day, so that warlock build really will fit that flavor very well.
Ah, I see. And then the last one you said were tropes themselves.
Yeah.
For the younger viewers or for people out there in TV land that may not know what a trope is, what is a trope?
A trope is something like a fantasy cliche, like your knight in shining armor, the princess hidden in the tower, protected by a dragon, the evil witch hiding in the cottage. Those are examples of classic tropes or cliches.
So you personally, when you think of a trope that you'd want to build a character off of for character creation, what would be the top trope?
The easiest one to build, and one that I am currently kind of working on with a character I just made, is the Knight in Shining Armor.
And so, would this be a fighter class, or what kind of class would it be?
That's the best thing. You can have it being... I can either see it going one of three different versions. There's the fighter, the paladin, and then the cleric type. So your fighter is someone like Jaime Lannister from the Game of Thrones. He is very worried about his kingdom and making sure that the ruling class is protected, and so he was more of that guard type, which nice heavy armor that's like very nicely polished, doesn't necessarily get his hands dirty unless absolutely necessary. And then there is the fighter that is on that like holier than thou quest given by their god, and that's when I can see the more cleric type, because they're sitting there doing a certain quest, kind of like the Knights of the Round Table. Certain ones of them were very much more religious than others, so that's when you can have a cleric or a paladin. Someone like Lancelot was still very righteous and holy, so he still fits in that type, but he wasn't super dedicated. So that's where the more paladin type would come in versus someone like Gawain, who was a very strict code and he would follow it and he would pray constantly, so he would fit that more cleric type.
I see. All right. So what you're saying is that movies, anime,
Yep.
and then the actual tropes themselves, that's kind of the top three that you draw from for character creation. Well, Michael, thank you so much for coming on the channel tonight for this character creation. For Dungeon Crawl Gaming and for Kevin's Corner, I'm DM Kevin.
And I'm Michael.
And just remember, if you can't run through the dungeon,
At least crawl.
bye, everybody.